I know we all connect to our higher self, but did you know there is so much more than a higher self? There is currently so many versions of you existing in their own reality. That to put all that pressure on a higher self, like that's not even nice to the higher self. Like, let's give everybody else credit. There's a lot of you out there and up there. So I asked, well, then why are we here? Welcome to the Wine and Spirits Portalcast, a gateway to go beyond the story, bring those big why questions out to play, and transcend them into spiritual understanding. I'm your host, Salwa, Ascension Guide, Light Code Activator, Imperfect Human, Weirdo who talks to spirits more than humans, and Divine Smartass, on a mission to help activate the masses while enjoying the full spectrum of this human experience. Join me as we ask, receive, and activate. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of the Wine and Spirits Portalcast. Okay, we're starting out, so I'm still covering a lot of basics with the Portalcast, and this one I know from my team was important to cover, and what we are going to talk about is why the Portalcast. Like, why? And this is one that I asked myself when I received this assignment. I'm like, why? I mean, do we really need another podcast? And why me? And like, why? Humanity has an attachment to their story. And that was like a truth bomb to me. I'm like, oh, wait, okay, you want to explain? Because like, well, we're living it. We are like, we have a story. So it makes sense. Going beyond the story is the superpower that we are here to tap into. And that is one that is the hardest. So by bringing this Portalcast out, the main part of my job really is to help people go beyond the story. And this seems to be a trend. Even my first keynote was like, go beyond the story. I keep hearing this, go beyond the story. And I'm trying to understand, well, why do we have these stories to come out here and live out? And we're going to be playing these parts that are so important to us, but our whole existence revolves around going beyond the story, which led me to my next question. Well, then why are we here? Why are we here? Because it seems like we have a life story, right? In my mind, in my human brain, like when I'll drop in, I'll download, but I like to play the part of like devil's advocate, devil being like the human that like doesn't get it. And then also being my own guru, which is we're all here to do that, right? So I go to my human brain, my childlike curiosity of like, why? Just to give myself the opportunity to offer myself the perspective from the wiser self. I'm not even going to call it my higher self because I know we all connect to our higher self, but did you know there is so much more than a higher self? There is currently so many versions of you existing in their own reality. That to put all that pressure on a higher self, like that's not even nice to the higher self. Like, let's give everybody else credit. There's a lot of you out there and up there. So I asked, well, then why are we here? You want us to go beyond the story. So we're here creating these stories that are our lives. And then we're going to do all this work to go beyond the story. Like, what is the point? So I asked, they showed me, they always show me everything in codes. If you guys saw my notebooks and the things I draw, you would probably want to have me checked into some institution where they keep aliens. I'm not even kidding, because it's just, I don't receive in words anymore. And I'm okay with it. I worked really hard in the past, probably 2 years. It's been exponential upgrades of becoming the cosmic antenna I know I'm here to be. I'm claiming it. I'm cool with that. And I saw the code imprints of what it looks like to go beyond the story. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like why we're here. This is why we're here. So picture this, okay? Because for some of you, this is going to be like a little bit much, but I don't want you to click off. Don't click off. Don't pop off. Just open up. You are back at source, right? Big ball of like white, potent energy that just feels like bliss and a heart. and not a care in the world because you're just one and you're everywhere all at once, all at once. You're there. You're there. And that's a beautiful place to be. We all want to just kind of stay there. But there is so many universes to create and microcosms. And we won't go into that because that's maybe later. And you're being gifted the opportunity to take this light essence that you are, the spark of life coming from that giant ball of God energy. And you're that. So ding, 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 you're God, right? You're God energy. And the mothership is telling you, okay, my child, go break off on your own, be your own cosmic intelligence, be your own heaven, create that on earth. I'm going to give you two things that you don't have up here when you're part of this: free will and emotions, which I question that too, because I'm like, but I thought like being with God is like love. But when they talk about emotions, it's the full spectrum, right? So our emotional scale is designed to be a sacred mirror of the cosmic laws of the universe, which is why like we all want to be on this side, right? Happy, joy. But when we elected to be that spark of God and come and create this experience, we agreed to this scale of emotions that honors that law system of the universe, which means as above, so below, which means you can't just have it this way. You have to learn how to have the darkness to harmonize the light. So, okay, you're back in this ball, right? God source energy, you're your source, and you're going to get to go have this experience. You're like, okay, my child, go create this. Use your free will to design experiences that are going to help you understand and harmonize this full spectrum of emotions that is part of the human experience, and that will gift you the wisdom and understanding through experiences that you can then bring back to source. Talk about group work, right? Like, all right, teamwork makes the dream work. So, and talk about smart delegating. The God source energy is like, you go there, you learn, experience, and you understand how to harmonize the cosmic laws of the universe through you. Okay, that's your assignment. And so bringing me back to how we get stuck in the story. A lot of times, humanity, humans, us, we are in the story of this is happening to me, or I'm working on this, but it's not going like that, or I'm waiting to do this, or where's my person, or like these stories. So let's say, for example, you're waiting to meet your partner. Like you've been single for fucking ever, right? I don't know. That one came to me. I think that's a collective thing. You've been single forever. You're tired of doing it on your own. You're a good human. You've done the work. Like, where the fuck is your person? And what is the universe trying to tell you? The universe isn't trying to tell you anything. Your universe, you chose this in order to learn something at an energetic level. And if you can't take yourself out of the story of like, oh, is me, victim mode, or trying to dissect the problem with everybody else, instead of being like, okay, this comes to me. What did I choose to experience? Well, I'm experiencing a hell of a lot of loneliness and feeling like unloved, and it sucks. That's what I'm experiencing. Okay, sit with those feelings, because you know what is on the other side of that polarity: the love and the joy that you want. But it's not until you sit with that and acknowledge it for the energy that it is, not for the story, not for, and like you go visit family and they're like, why are you still single? Whatever stories. And then people enable our stories. But if you just sit with the pure energy of it and the emotion that it's cultivating between you, then you are being gifted the opportunity to truly harmonize that emotion so that you can experience what's on the other side, because you have no option but to. You're not going to stay here forever. That would also not honor the cosmic laws of the universe. But it's waiting for you to work with this energy in a healthy way, in an empowered way, in a way where you're not lonely, victim, unwanted. Everyone else has it except you. Instead, I was gifted this so that I can alchemize it to this, sit with the feeling, go beyond the story. I'm like, cool. I like that. Let's go beyond the story. What other stories do we have? We have so many stories. And don't even get me started on how I feel sometimes about like my kids going off to school and spending an hour plus learning like history, like lessons, like history stories, more stories. Then I'm like, how does this serve? I wish we'll go into that one, but I would completely redesign the school system if I could. But I can only do one thing at a time, right? No, actually, like that's not true. A lot, but that's not going to be my battle. But go beyond the story, but understand that we haven't been trained to ever go beyond the story. We've been trained to hear stories and to this is how you process that story and this is what that means. Instead, let's unravel all of that and look at the root of the story. And the root of the story is the energy that it is birthing inside of you through your emotions. Your emotions are your compass for energy work. When you elected to be a part of that giant God source energy and go and create your experience, you also elected to have a compass. And that compass was your heart. It was your emotions. That is why the sacred path of love, that's the way I live. And I am big into bringing back Christ consciousness. We are here to bring back Christ consciousness. And that is by way of the sacred heart. And that doesn't mean that we're always feeling this lovey-dovey, like I love everything. No, it means that we honor our emotions as this compass of higher intelligence of how we're going to harmonize energies. We're just energy workers. So back to the Portalcast. Why the Portalcast? My guides showed me that creating this, they told me to not stress too much about like where it's going, business plan, blah, blah, blah. Cause I'm like, listen, guys, I have enough things going on like with my business, my kids, that to take another on, like, and they're like, go beyond the story. I'm like, oh, mic drop, you know, when they use their own message on you while you're about to give the message. My story is that I have to prove something by launching this. And really the story is that I am giving my energy of my downloads life to give you life. It's just life. So going beyond the story, the Portalcast and are coming together and addressing these questions because I am going to take your questions. I don't just want my questions, even though I ask them plenty. You're going to be sending in questions, good questions, like big why questions. Okay. Like, you know, I'm asking, why are we here? So I want you to ask me good questions. Please don't ask me like why you have this red bump. Like, I don't want to talk about your red bump. Does not align. We have to go into the bigger things, the things that if you're like a kid, if your inner child is going to come out and like talk through you, you know, you'll be asking some big questions, but it's the adult version of us that's like, well, if I ask that means that I don't know, but like, I don't know. So ask them. But by bringing these questions out to play and then getting to the root of the answer and the energy of it, this portal is a portal of helping people go beyond the story. And going beyond the story is very healing because stories attach themselves to you. Stories become these like shackles. And I know from, okay, little personal story. When I did my first keynote and I had to share my story, and on my first episode too, because my guides told me to share my story, people should know who is the facilitator of the Portalcast. So I shared it to the best of, my time ability. But I remember having such a difficult time feeling like I could ever give that keynote again. I'm like, I already shared my story. If I start being one of those speakers that is always on stage sharing the same story, I will want to check out of this reality because I know that's not how I serve. That is how some people serve. Some people can share their story time and time again, and you feel it and it inspires, and that's beautiful. And I love that for them. But I know part of my coding is in going beyond the story, transcending the story, and I can move through stories fast. So I want to be able to help others do that. That is why the Portalcast, we want to be able to help. We want to be able to help. I love receiving answers. I receive a lot of answers. My only job is to stay out of my way. So as long as I'm doing my work to live in ceremony, I live in ceremony. I live in ritual. It's not something I turn on for, hosting women's events or retreat. It's not, I don't turn it on and off. I live in it so that I can keep my channel in a place where it can receive, because I know what it's like to have turn the channel off. And I'm never going back to that. So the Portalcast is here to help you go beyond the story. And the more that you learn to go beyond the stories, but also ask those big questions, the more that you in your cells start to receive activation, because you know it. And when things happen, you'll catch them faster. Okay, so that's going beyond the story, human experience, free will, emotions. The less you get attached to the emotion and the more you get intrigued by exploring the why of the emotion, the more you're able to play by this cosmic laws of the universe where they want you to experience the full spectrum. It all serves. Some are more uncomfortable than others. We don't really want to experience grief or sorrow, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about all of it. I asked, why do people have anxiety? Why do people have depression? Like, we're going to get to all of it, because these are things that we should be asking. And these are things that they want to gift us answers to, and the ability to go beyond the story. So I hope that helps explain a little bit about why the Portalcast. As I mentioned in my episode where I talked a little bit about my story, a little bit, it was like an hour, but I'm 41. Like, how quickly can you talk about your life? When I heard the assignment, of course I had some hesitation, because I was like, oh, why me? And like, am I doing too much? I don't really understand why. Like, I'm still working on shedding that one. I am a lot of energy. So of course my business is a lot of energy. My business is just it's my frequency and expressions. I'm a lot of energy. So yeah, I do that and that and that. That's just me. But when I was having resistance to starting this, just because I didn't know how it would be received, which is the worst reason to have resistance, right? Like, we really should not judge the room. If we judge the room will judge you. So, but I created my own resistance, and I got to the point where I was not able to sleep. They did not let me sleep. Every night I had to hear myself. I had to hear my episodes. But not only did I have to hear them, I got to be inspired by them. I wanted to take notes. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, she's so smart. Wait, that's me. But that's not me now. But that's what. But I was also sleeping. And so it got to the point where I had to take action, because I need sleep. I need sleep. So I'm still in this human experience, right? I don't get that much sleep, but I do need sleep. So that's why the Portalcast, to help us go beyond the story. And that is why we are here. We are here to master going beyond the story. We are here to master the discernment of our free will and the harmonizing of our emotions. And by doing so, we will elevate the grid of Earth. And I know it's not time yet. They're like, it's not time yet, Sala. When I talk about where Earth is at compared to other galaxies, you're going to be like, wow, why did they put this on the spiritual short bus? Like, it's not even fair. It's a beautiful experience. The human experience is beautiful. Emotions are beautiful. Going beyond the story is going to be your superpower. So thank you for watching, listening, and please do send me your questions. We want to talk about them. You are all channels for the divine. So you're not just a curious human sending a question. By sending something, that means that you are receptive to your intuition and you're receiving something and you're sending it in. We need that. We need you. Please speak up. Thank you for being here. I love you, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. I wholeheartedly hope you received a spark of inspiration, comfort, or new perspective in today's episode. Your support is truly appreciated and necessary on the mission of this Portalcast. If you feel it, please comment, share with your world, and leave a review. Stay tuned for the next episode coming soon, and follow on all social platforms linked in the description for all updates. To submit your own why questions to be featured in the show, shoot me a message. Until next time, may the activating life force be with you.